honoured to welcome to the Design Note studio one of the most recognisable artists in board games today. This is, and I'm going to absolutely ruin his name here, Mihajlo Dimitrievski, better known as the Mico. Welcome to the Design Note studio.
I thought you'd talk about somebody else. I didn't know that you're talking about me, but thank you. I see you're glitching a little, but that may be from my connection. By the way, I have an excellent collection here in Macedonia, but whenever I am on a meeting or on an interview or something really important, it tends to be a little shady.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not glitching. It's just that my camera sees my face and it goes wrong.
So it's not. It's not.
It's the curse of being ugly, I'm afraid.
It's not a low resolution. It's setting.
Exactly. So, in life, we rarely get to brag. We rarely get to talk about how great we are. But on the Design Note show, you get that opportunity. So when I ask you this question, please feel free to brag as much as you wish. And so the question is, when did you realise you were good at what you do?
I still hadn't realized that, actually. You know, whenever I draw something, I'm like, this sucks. Nobody will like it. I'm ruined. It's better for me to find some other job. And you know, when people like you, which is great for me actually, say, "Hey, this is awesome and great," and I'm like, "Are you okay?" You know, there is always. I'm not very, I don't trust my work, and I'm very happy when I get nice reviews. I like what I do. I'm not so sure that I'm that good, actually. Perhaps you're seeing something that I don't. Maybe my drawings in your eyes are different, I guess. It's something like, when you're making a movie or animated movie or whatever, you're so long in that process that, you don't look it with the same eyes as the guys who are playing it or the guys who are watching it, whatever. So thank you for kind words. Actually, I don't know that I'm that good. I'm trying to be decent, not too bad, not too super awesome, somewhere in the middle.
So I'm not very good at many things, but I think maybe the worst thing the worst thing I can do is draw. I am absolutely appalling at drawing, and it's been the same since I was a kid. Were you one of those kids that was just naturally gifted at art? You picked up a pencil and you could knock out a picture of a bird from the age of 3. That sort of thing.
Probably, because on Balkans, we are trying to change that mindset, I guess. We are used to that you have to have a job that's important, like, I don't know, doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, or you have to work in a mine or something, in factory. The job that's actually really a job. That's important. That it's moving stuff in the world, at least for this Balkan mentality. And when I started to draw, everybody in my community, my family, everybody likes that. Look at our son, look at our friend. He is drawing, but nobody there. There is some start here on that subject, but nobody will, at least in the past, look at this as a profession. It's more like, oh, you're drawing, nice hobby. Hopefully you will draw someday when you're older and you have a real job, not an artist. And I'm terrible at everything, actually. I'm barely decent at drawing, but I'm not good at anything else. So this is my hobby and my profession, and I'm really blessed that I can live from my hobby. I will define it as creativity. And again, it wasn't looked in my country or in this region of Balkans as something that is as a serious profession. When you mention to somebody, what are you doing? I'm drawing goblins, for living. And they say, okay, nice joke. Now, what are you really working on? And it's interesting, it's fun. I usually tell people, especially in this latest couple of years, doctors having a real job. They are doing the hard part. But once they save all the people and heal all the people, our jobs comes next. Making the life of people more enjoyable. When they are tired, they can play game or watch a movie or watch a cartoon or read a comic book, perhaps. So yes, that will be some sort of answer, I guess.
So I spoke to Shem Phillips on this show, and we spoke
Yes,
about
yes.
you, and he said that he found you on DeviantArt. And so my question is, we're both of us here earning money over the internet. Do you think it would have been possible for you to do what you're doing now in the pre-internet age if you were doing this in the 80s or the early 90s?
I don't think so. Realistically, not. Because when I was in second, how is high school, there was a group of us trying to be an artist and drawing comics, and it was a problem with the materials. We still have problem with the materials, but it's like something. I don't have some sort of paper, but if I order it, it will come here. I can't buy it immediately in the moment, but I can wait for it like 2 or 3 weeks or maybe a month or two. Uh, Digitalization help us a lot because I send a lot of stuff via post, and when it's directly human involved, something get lost, something gets damaged, etc., etc. And with the technology and the process, everything has to go to the digital now. And it was harder to get to the publisher then, because here you have to draw it, photocopy it. If you have a friend with a scanner, he will scan it probably so you to have a copy or whatever, and you will send it to publishers. And it was a process, and it was more difficult to get to the publishers. And I guess the most persuasive one, the guys that had most of the will were will get to the places they were wanting, to the publishers. I'm speaking for the comics and illustration generally, not just for board games. And with digitalization now, you don't have that amount of space that you have to walk. If I can say it like that, because you can open gallery, publishers can go to the gallery to your portfolio, and if they're looking for something, they can say this is the guy who are we are looking for. They can see your range, they can see your stuff. It's easier to communicate. I was teaching in a college for movies here, for film, and I was teaching about storyboards. And I was speaking about this, that it used to be harder. You have to draw on paper, etc. You have to scan it. But now we are living in global village, because I'm speaking to you in Germany, I'm in Macedonia, and we can chit chat and have we can see each other all day, every day, on beach, on mountain, on coffee, on lunch, whatever. And global village, everything is great. And I returned to my hometown, and there wasn't power for like 2 days, and everything about that global village doesn't work, actually, because I can't work because there is no electricity, and I'm mainly working digital. And even if I work, manually with paper and ink, which I adore, by the way, and the brushes, you can work till like 5 or 6 o'clock. Then it's dark, and you will have to work on, on the some sort of light. So digital era is great. I don't know, not this newest stuff that is coming out, but as a tool, as something that if I have a pen, it will eventually dry out or it will be spent. But if I have a digital pen, it will probably last me for a couple of years. So in that object, more easier communication. Easier, something that I will do for like one day, I can do now in 5 minutes, writing a mail or sending a files, etc., etc. So it's easier for sharing the information and the amount of. And again, I'm not speaking about AI and whatever it's called these days, that Google collage thingy, which is consider I consider it that's not I actually. It's more like collage from different illustrations and photos. As I'm trying to follow that situation, it's more of the simple definition. If you can draw, you can draw. If you don't know to draw, you can draw. So digitalization is making process easily, uh, but only if you know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, if you don't know to draw on paper or on the, I don't know, cement or in sand or on walls, you probably won't know to draw on computer.
So I was really surprised when I spoke to Shem that you hadn't done board games before you worked with
No,
him.
no.
So what was the journey that got you from the Mico on DeviantArt to board games?
I'm trying to keep things relatively simple, So, we are doing this interview, and I would like to be as short as possible because I don't know how to think. So you can have more time to play on PlayStation or board games, or you can watch movie, or watch the paint dry on the wall. Whatever is your choosing of time spending. And Shem wrote me, and I have a lot of experience in marketing in illustration because actually I love to draw. I started as a comic book artist, and I would like to continue as a comic book artist. But I'm really interested in drawing, actually. So, if there is some profession or some direction that drawing can get you to, from to storyboards, concept art, design, tattoo design, I don't know, sticker design, whatever, I have done everything. And Shem called me. He asked me if I want to draw something, and I said yes. Why not? I was surprised because my knowledge on the board games in that period was, Monopoly and Dungeons and Dragons and probably Magic the Gathering, and I didn't know that there is a lot of people that are enjoying actually this type of things. So I was pretty much surprised because for I still do advertising art and movies, etc. But it exploded in this board game area or game area because which is great for me because I have a lot of opportunities to work on different subjects. My favorite subjects are monsters and goblins and stuff. But it's cool when you, I don't know, draw a game about doctors or draw games about, I don't know, some animals or whatever. So it was surprisingly for me. I'm still surprised. Again, about the subject, about my art, that it's great, etc. I don't think it like that until I hear from, if I'm drawing a game, I don't like it. And after a year, probably, when the game is printed and the people are starting to play it, you see the real actually value of those drawings. Not the drawings like I can draw a woman or a man or whatever, but you see that those drawings combined with the game design bring a lot of joy to people, and that's the satisfaction part. That however small my country is, or however small my town is, or my studio, and whatever, from this part of the world, you're bringing some kind of joy to some people on the other side of the world. So that's super cool, actually.
So, you started off with Shem's Viking games. And, looking behind you, what's on the wall, and I assume, was it when he said, I'm doing this game, it's about Vikings, were you just like, no problem, I can knock that out in 10 minutes, Vikings are
yes.
my happy place?
Yeah, no, I'm connected to Vikings, because of the game, etc. But I like Vikings. But again, I do like fantasy subjects. We are surrounded with reality, and we see it all around us. Not starting with wars or poverty or whatever. Every subject that every human is watching. And those fantasy subjects or historic subjects, I really like those because that's something that we can't experience actually, and luckily for us that we can't experience it. I guess. because those were trouble times, because we are romanticizing them, but again, I do this all the weapons are actually from the Lord of the Rings, and I like them because I know they don't exist. They exist in this form, but it's cool, it's romantic, like forces of evil, etc., etc. But again, yes, the subjects like Vikings or massive armies, dragons, perhaps, or something like that, that doesn't exist, but you can bring that struggle with good and evil and some heroic stuff against evil people. That's cool. And
So,
Vikings, beards, fierce warriors, fierce female warriors with those tattoos and stuff on them, skulls, etc. Yeah, that's cool for me. I love good design, and I love that specific design, because Vikings were probably not that interesting, I guess, in interesting in sense that they were like clothes. Probably their clothes was not that interesting as I draw them. They were like in pajamas, etc. But they were dangerous, of course, because they were killing people, and but. I like to insert that gatekeeper with his shield is a gate, and etc. etc. Some of that design and beards, etc. Or as in Viking series, where they were all clothes, their clothes was made from leather, and everybody's liking them because they look like a motor gang, etc. But again, good design. I like those subjects, and again, Vikings are cool, bearded guys, evidently. So
so when you think about the work you've done in games, you've done the Viking stuff, you've done, and now you're doing the South Tigris stuff with Shem. You've done Endless Winter, which is Inuit culture. I mean, what kind of research do you do when you're given the subject of a game?
well, I used to have a lot of books, actually. There is one I especially love because I bought it and I never opened it. It is called The Animals, and it's like this big. And there is a baboon on the cover, and it's super awesome. But I have to get out and go in the other side of the studio and take the book and search for And in the moment that with digitalization, the internet and technology, if you use it right, especially, everything is on click on couple of buttons. If I'm looking for a lion, I will find lion, and I will Google it. So if somebody wants me to draw something from Eastern culture, I will Google that. And if I find something interesting, I'm not super correct. I have to, again, these are the games. Often the reality is not so cool and not so interesting. So, I will Google it. If I look for some specific historical figure or specific, I don't know, period, etc., I will try to find something that is most interesting so I can draw. And when I'm drawing people, I try to make them as different, as possible, because when I was younger, one was my most interesting stuff to do was, I was sitting on the balcony and the people were passing by, and I was trying to draw them. I'm super excited when I'm looking people because everybody is looking differently, and I'm super happy when I'm drawing. Somebody has a larger nose or smaller nose. Some girl has longer hair or shorter hair. That's everything. But again, my research is mostly based on Google, and if I find something interesting, I'm trying to input that in my drawings, and still trying to be my own, and that art to be interesting to people who are playing or watching.
And so what is your process with the designer? Can you give us a sort of brief overview of your process?
You used a super word, brief. I'm trying to be as easier to work as possible. There are times when you have a something specific subject and you want to work more specific on something, but I do try to keep it as easy, as friendly as possible. You send me a list of stuff, I send you sketches, and you say this sketch is okay, and Usually I'm on the one side of the world, and whoever I'm working is on the other side of the world. And I will do the final art because I can't wait a day to somebody to say if this okay or it's not okay. I will do the final art, and I will hold my fingers, that the designer or my boss in the moment says this is great, and job is done. If not, I will redraw it. But I'm trying to keep my process as simple as possible again, so everybody can have more time to do whatever they like. We are making magic, actually. We are making stuff from nothing, basically. We are using our own creativity, and we are making stuff that should supposed to be fun. So I would like to have a fun in that process. You're doing some drawing or doing some. I want to draw a comic or illustration or whatever. You have to have time to play. I don't play board games. Actually, I haven't played single board game. So if you have some of that questions, I can give you answers because. Again, sorry, people. Somebody has to draw, and I try to play on the PlayStation from time to time. It's more difficult for me now, but again, my process is relatively simple. Somebody writes me a mail. Hi, hey, do you want to draw this game? I say, when do you need it? They say, then I say, okay. We talk about money because we have to pay the bills. Money, okay, and I'm again getting a list. I'm doing the sketches until we know each other, and after that we are passing a couple of steps. You're getting final art. There is a big possibility that I will be late a couple of days because we are all everybody's human. We have families. You somebody someday the weather won't be so nice. You won't be very in the mood to draw. You will be sick, evidently. In some cases, you will be holiday or whatever. But until now, I haven't missed a lot of deadlines, and every project I have been on has been relatively successful. Not thanks to me actually, but thanks to the everybody involved. So I'm trying to keep my job as simple as possible, without a lot of philosophy. I need, for example, Shem with the Vikings. I need 10 Vikings. I draw him 10 Vikings. If he likes them, great. If he doesn't like something, we'll change it. Everybody's happy, especially people that are playing and enjoying the game.
And so, when we think of artists, we think of people in berets sitting in bars drinking absinthe. But what's really interesting about artists throughout history is they've been people who are using cutting edge technology of the time. If you go back to the classic periods, they're using, pigments and oil mixtures and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, to what degree do you have to be an artist in the modern age? To what degree do you have to be someone who's really good at using software and computers?
That's actually a great question. Whenever I'm going to a convention, comic books convention or illustration conventions, I'm really interested is what I'm doing okay, or am I a moron? Is everybody doing the thing that I do? You don't have to have a latest technology actually to do stuff. Everything you need to do the illustration or the art is paper and pen, and probably some colors. So if you want to draw with wooden pencils, the color pencils, you can do that if the people are searching for it. Uh, I I find that interesting to draw on the tablets when they come out here in Macedonia because it was actually interesting to me. And it was easing up the process. I didn't have the money, or we didn't have a lot of nice watercolors here in Macedonia, and me getting one of those tablets gave me the opportunities to have the digital watercolors. So again, I like to use technology, but don't know. My computer is probably a couple of years old. Not sure that it's top-notch computer. Probably it's not. I work mainly on the 24 HD vacuum tablet because it's big, and it's my profession. And if you don't invest in your profession, what will you invest into? I'm finding it more enjoyingly to draw on iPad because their pen is excellent, and I don't know why that the feel of the pen is super awesome, especially for black and white. And I'm doing even in painting and some games on that. But again, you don't have to have technology. You don't have to have the latest computer. You can buy it if you want it. That's the category that you cannot, you cannot go negotiate if you want something really. If you really want a computer, buy a computer. If you don't want a computer, don't want a computer. If you want to work manually, super awesome. So every artist for himself. I choose this path and I'm working on that. And again, I have mentioned this a couple of times. I have Photoshop that's actually from 2007, I think. That's the super old one. There are a couple of versions from there, but it's working super nice for me, and I don't really intend to change it because it's working great. It's not the newest software. It's probably not even the best software, but again, it's not the program that is drawing. The heart and the brain is drawing actually, not even the arm. So no, computers and technology are tools. If you don't know how to use them, they won't do you no good. So if I don't have a computer, I will probably do this same thing, but I won't do it in a day. I will do it in 2 days. So, if you give me a newest iPad, it will be great. If you give me older iPad, it will again be okay. If you give me paper, I will draw on that. If you give me, I don't know, Android tablet, I will draw on that. So I don't have a problem working anywhere or on anything actually. And on that, I don't wear, the scarf, and I don't go to the coffee shop. I know people that do that, and again, as I saw in a meme somewhere, do whatever you like as long as you don't hurt somebody else. So if you want to have a beret, why not? Because for example, I'm usually dressed 100 all in black except for my Converse sneakers. I try to make them be as much in color as possible. So.
So, you went from being a comic book artist to being a board game artist through Shem's work. What percentage of your work now is in board games, and what percentage in other areas?
I haven't actually do the math on that, but I think that the big percent is on the board games. I do have a couple of other stuff that I'm doing. I have a small publishing company. It is small publishing company here in Macedonia, but we are getting now in the other countries. So it's growing. It's based on some of the characters that are mine. I have drawn them. I have partners with me, and we are doing a lot of children's stuff. We are doing the books, toys, animated movies, etc. And it is growing. But again, in the moment, my main job is probably drawing board games. Again, because it is, I can draw something in the morning, other thing in the noon, and totally different stuff in the night. It is super awesome for me. That is maybe the only part that I hate about comics is when you draw them, you have to be relatively, specific on the subject for the whole time, 50 pages or 100 pages, or I don't know how many pages. You have to be in that style locked probably, which is good from time to time. And games and illustrations, etc., give me opportunity to draw a lot of stuff during the day. I don't know, from stickers to albums to board game about Vikings to board game about small, cute animals and whatever. So it's interesting, as long as when you draw, or you are moving or singing or listen to the music, and you are happy actually, and you're excited that you're doing stuff, it is good.
So 2 more questions then. So you're at a convention, and you're coming back from the loo. You go out in the evening, and you're coming back from the loo, and you hear a group of people, gamers, sitting around a table, and you hear your name mentioned. So you stand in the corner and you listen to what they're saying. What do you hope they're saying about you?
Well, I hope they say nice things. I haven't been in that situation, but everybody likes to hear good stuff about themselves. No? If somebody don't like my art, I will understand. There is a lot of art that I don't like, but again, it will be good for, I guess, for me to listen good stuff. At the end of the day, nobody likes to listen to bad stuff probably for himself. But the main point of my drawing board games is actually for you to have fun. If you don't have fun with the game, we have missed the point of everything. You have to like to play the game. So hopefully, when I'm in that situation, actually, I haven't been at any board convention. So hopefully, this year we will. I will break that. The reason is quite simple. Actually, I was terribly afraid of planes. So we have gone through that last year. So hopefully, this year it will be easier for me.
So my last question then, if someone had never seen the work you do, how would you describe your art to them?
Well, this is a very hard question. I have actually never. I guess I will describe it as some. Do you want to see something funny? I haven't. Again, I'm trying to. I'm not so into my art, so I can. This is. You can see that in the eyes of this monster. You can see all my childhood because when I was a kid, etc. I do it for fun. There's a lot of artists that are putting a lot of their story inside their art, etc. But I'm trying to draw for fun because I really I have like a gazillion comics and gazillion art books and gazillion toys because I like them because what they are. I don't have a lot of philosophic meaning behind it. I like to read comics. They relax me. I don't have a lot of time to read them actually now, but I do collect them. And then whenever I'm down or you want to have a little rest, etc., I like to take a good book or good comic book or whatever, and I'm actually enjoying that. Those magical words they are giving us break for everything that's going on in our life. Again, we all need some break. Somebody's going on a mountain, somebody's going on bungee jumping. I want to drink coffee actually and read comic books. That's my forte. So I hope that my art is fun. So if you want to see something fun, I guess, and interesting people, probably interesting monsters, I hope that I draw that.
Excellent. Well, Mihajlo Dimitrievski, the Mico,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you.